If not, you'll have to shove it right back up your ass.
He took it out of his ass. He's gonna have to stick it back there.
So what was that, Ranty? Somebody else was saying what in chat?
Literally, when you were reading off, you know what it actually meant. Somebody else had actually spent the time typing it out at the same time. So
right,
you know, it must be a real word.
Yeah, it is a real word. I just didn't know whether it meant what I wanted. It was one of those moments where you know what you're trying to say, but you couldn't get the exact adjective out. He's a knobhead, Jazz. I don't even know why he comes on. I'm sure he comes on just for shits and
We're his booty call. I've said that before.
I got the word wrong. I kept calling him a sadist. It's actually a masochist. Somebody just enjoys having pain inflicted on them. And in this instance, it's mental pain. You know, he's being shown up for the idiot he is, but he consistently rejoins and does it over and over again. I don't get it. Unless people... It reminds me of Brenda in that respect. Brenda's the same. You know, just slightly less stupid. She comes in, it seems, just because she enjoys being abused. It doesn't make any sense, but, you know, some people are just masochists.
Our agents are paid to do what they do.
Would you pay Jazz to do what he did just then? Be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they're just there to waste time. This is what I keep saying. I mean, they'll keep coming back again and again with the same arguments. They're united in sort of a common goal or a common purpose. Nothing's going to shake them from their tracks. I believe myself, they all know the earth is flat and stationary, and they've been led into a greater secret or greater picture, you know. So whatever they're doing it for definitive reasons. Have you ever known any ball earther to change? As you pointed out yourself, Nathan, you haven't known any of them to conceive anything ever. So, I mean, there's a greater sort of structure behind the way they all act in unison. And I guess that's up for us to figure it out. That's why I'm so impatient about all of this. With Anthony as well, you know that we said all this stuff last year, Anthony, and I've been in this arena since the beginning, really. And I guess it's the individual's journey. So I've come to realize exactly what these people are, these faceless, nameless people for the most part, and how pointless it is in trying to deal or interact with them. You know, and at one point you have to sort of leave them behind and move on. And this is what I think. I'm an honest investigator here. I want to know the true nature of my reality so we can understand what isn't. Now let's find out what is and make sort of inroads into that. There's no point or purpose to just dwelling on the same points, the same issues all the time. It's futile. And this plays right into their hands, I firmly believe, you know.
Yeah, well, also play what plays. What you have to hands is when we keep pointing out that they've got nothing.
You have to keep doing it so that other people watch the debates and, you know.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's why you gotta keep doing it.
There's constantly new people coming into it. But
exactly.
I said it myself. I mean, it's probably more fool me for coming here. I shouldn't be getting pissed off. I understand the nature of this somewhat. But at the same time, I think all genuine flat earthers, you can't just be happy with, you know, the basics. There's a whole truth there waiting for us to explore, especially about our own natures and the part we play and fit in all of this, you know. And I think more inroads need to be, more effort needs to be made in that. One thing I will object to, Brian Mullen. I think Brian Mullen is a plant, right? And he left in a blaze of drama. But before he did, he gave us the Bible. The Bible plays a major part. The Bible literalists a major part in this arena. And the Bible was waiting at the flat earth door for us, right? All the Bible literalists have excellent arguments, all of them, right? But at the end of the day, they'll always bring you back to the literal interpretation of the Bible, and I think that is the point here. We have to understand Brian Mullen. Yeah, before he left in his blaze of drama, he gave us Robbie Davidson and the Flat Earth Conference. And for me, the Bible literalists have hijacked Flat Earth, and now all Flat Earthers have been looked, especially in the eyes of the outside. And whatever battle is going to come onto the mainstream, I think it's going to be a final science versus religious battle. So the flat earthers will be lumped in with the creationists and the Bible literalists more especially. And I think that that's probably part of the plan, part of the ploy.
Well, these awake souls, I mean, they're clearly plants, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's no way that they're real, genuine flat earthers. The way they behave, what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're total pretenders.
Well,
there's a channel that does testing on vacuum containers. And you can find him quite easily. I think he calls himself something like the Science Channel or something like that.
Yeah,
but fuck me, he looks like and sounds like Awake Souls. I was wondering if you'd have a look at it and see if you can see if it's the same guy. Just do a search on YouTube for is it cold inside a vacuum chamber or something like that. That was the one I watched. And right at the very end, he goes on camera and he shows what he looks like. But he sounds like him and he looks like him, and I'm thinking that's got to be the same guy. That.
Yeah, this is the worry. I think this is the great battle, Armageddon, science versus religion. And of course, the people who don't care, general public, have been overrun by science. Now everyone has a smartphone, everyone has a computer, Wi-Fi everywhere. So they will take that side. They will leave it to the man in the white coats. And I think we can all relate to it in terms of, you know, trying to talk to people in real life. They don't give a shit. They really don't give a shit, most of them. So, dire shame. But I think that battle and that battleground has been paved for us. And again, we are being lumped in with, now I hold there's a creator, just don't hold that we should take the Bible literally. There is truth in it, and it is true, but not in that literal sense. It's there for interpretation. And I think, you know, if we stop at just a few talking points, which generally seems to be the situation here, we're screwing ourselves, really. There's so much more to talk about and unite with, you know. And Anthony, you know, I've spoken about this before. Every flat earther should be talking about the legal name fraud. The point in realizing you're flat earth, you think you're free, when you have no idea about the legal name fraud or the system, the dastardly system that we're all by consent taking part in, you know, unwitting consent, but consent nonetheless. And that's why I also talk about 9/11 fakery. If every flat earther united with that, now everyone knows about 9/11, it was broadcast earthwide. You know, if we all start talking about that, then, if you want to call it the movement, could garner a lot more sort of strength and unity, I guess.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, SX, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, P. Mars, Pete Shea, Mark Doxey, Earth Flattener, and Arwin. Full panel. Good to have you all.
Good to be here.
Good to be here.
Beep beep.
Cough, cough, beep, beep. I'm going to do housekeeping. I don't care if anybody objects. Any signs of curvature, gentlemen?
Nil point.
No curvature.
None.
Signs of axial
My
rotation?
belly's quite curvy.
Always of the Earth-based variety, including axial rotation. Any signs of that? Specifically Earth-based?
It's motionless.
No.
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 Any evidence of a pressurized system next to a vacuum? Or gas pressure without a container?
Nope.
That's impossible.
Have we found the container, or we just suspect there's a container
we have
because
pressure.
of the pressure?
That means
Hold
they
on,
must
hold
be
on. That's a
contained.
fair enough question. If you look up a nice new word, I probably couldn't spell it for you. I'll have a look for it in a minute. Antecedent. Do you know that word?
Mm-hmm.
It's too big. Too big for me.
Okay, well, I'll dig out the spelling so you can look it up. But yes, it's a necessary antecedent.
One thing
Anyway.
comes before the other, so if you have the other, then you know you must have the one thing.
Right, without a container, you can't have gas pressure. So if you've got gas pressure, you must have a container. It's not a cause and effect relationship. It's like it's like the equivalent of saying, I've got a shelf, right, and it's made of wood. You know it's wood. Yeah, it's got grain, it's definitely wood. It's not synthetic, just so there's no pedantic people in the audience who bring me up on it in comments. You've got a wooden shelf. It is a necessary antecedent that there was a tree. You don't need to prove the tree. You know the tree was there. You know that without there being a tree, you wouldn't have the wood for the shelf. But you don't have to go out and prove the tree. Yeah? The tree is a necessary antecedent to shelf, as opposed to a cause and effect. So it's not necessary to scientifically validate any container, because we have gas pressure.
Who's playing video games?
Me? Can you hear that?
Yes.
Jesus, Anthony.
Sorry.
Oh, God.
I'll have to mute you.
Put me on mute.
Right. Any evidence of a measurement to the distance?
What are you playing, Anthony? What are you playing?
Chicken's egg, so therefore you know there was a chicken.
Say again, Pete.
I said if you have a chicken's egg, right, the chicken is nowhere around, but because you have the chicken's egg, you know that there has to have been a chicken.
Right. The necessary antecedent for a chicken's egg is a chicken. Correct. Moving on. Any evidence of a measured distance to the sun?
Should I mention Aristarchus?
Yeah, go ahead.
Impossible.
This is
Bring
linked,
forth
definitely. Definitely. That's why I've done it with a more diverse panel. So yes, Pete, go ahead.
No. You know, I don't hold that any of these characters are historic, but of course, according to the history books, we're told that he's the first character who gave some sort of accurate or semi-accurate or sort of distance via mathematics. But no proper scientific measurements validated to give us the 93 million miles. Certainly, that is accepted by universities and scientists earthwide.
Do you know what Aristarchus placed the distance to the sun when he gave his quasi-accurate measurement?
I don't actually.
Fair enough, because it predates Christian I can never say his name, especially on called
Huygens. Yeah. Christian Huygens.
Yeah, is it Christian Huygens? I'm pronouncing his name badly with a cold. Either way, Aristarchus obviously would predate that, right? I'd just be interested to know what his assumptions were. And what his measurement ended up being.
I looked it up. It was in the millions anyway, but again, it's all fabricated. It's all storytelling for me. You know, history is his story, and for me, they're all clues for us. But yeah, he was definitely out in terms of the modern figure that's given anyway, which is absolutely obnoxious and ridiculous.
Fair enough. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Yes.
Okay. That's a surprise.
Yes, we saw concrete evidence in the last show. Unequivocal proof of the molten iron core inside the centre of the Earth.
It was not unequivocal. It was a model-based proof. And you can take that as proof if you like. I get it. You know, a lot of people put a lot of faith in models, and if you want to use that as evidence, you can check out show 443 and see the evidence presented by, I think it was Red's Rhetoric with a voice changer, but obviously, you know, I might be proven wrong on that, but that's just my hunch. But somebody claiming to be Jaren showed us a model-based evidence of at least the molten iron core. He didn't give us the R value. It was some model-based proof. But there we go. That was something to check out on 443 if you wish to do so.
Well, it looked better than the stuff that NASA put out, so it has to be real, right?
It was compelling. I'm not going to lie. Any evidence or proof of gravity? Not evidence, not evidence. Proof.
Ah,
proof.
yeah. You said it.
Proof. Proof only.
It's,
No.
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 But bear in mind that this housekeeping question is for the audience as well. So if there's any Globers in there that can actually debunk any of these questions or has proof that can, get rid of housekeeping, then just click the link and come in and tell us.
Any evidence of the presupposition itself? So, any evidence of our Earth radius, gentlemen? Tumbleweed. No? No proof of the presupposition of R, surely?
Well, Mick West, he couldn't do it, so...
No, he just took the R from the standard model of Earth. Model.
How did they get the R, though?
They just assumed it based on looking at a light in the sky that was curved, with a curved shadow, rather, and said, that must mean we are producing that shadow, therefore curved. So I'll start my measurements with a presupposition that we're on a sphere Earth. That's how they did it. Amazing, really.
You know, maybe it's a trick. Maybe it's a trick from the designers of the whole globe concept. Because in the Bible, it was said that something was done on the circle of the Earth, and the circle has a radius. So if God says there is something with a radius, then you're allowed basically to assume that. Maybe that's their trick.
My God, this spinning ball Earth seems to have no foundations whatsoever. Very strange that the vast majority of, according to Jazz anyway, the vast majority of the peoples of the Earth have such firm and solid beliefs in something that has no foundations. So, very strange.
Have you watched did you watch the last 2-3 shows, maybe 4 shows that had a chap called Apollo on?
Yes, he's a bit tough to listen to, but he brings up some interesting points. He seems to be pretty genuine, but well, yeah.
I agree. I think he is pretty genuine. In fact, just genuine. I wouldn't, say he's not genuine. Yes, he suffers cognitive dissonance. Yes, he's been brainwashed. Yes, he believes the Earth is a sphere. However, with a bit of hand-holding, he does actually make concessions, and that keeps my blood pressure nice and low. So, big kudos. The guy's a baller, but ultimately speaking, when he's presented with nonsense, or he presents us with nonsense and we pick it apart, he will at least concede to a certain degree and say, well, I'll go out and see if I can find more, and we explain that maybe you won't find more, and so it goes on. But ultimately, he's compliant. He seems to be far more willing to actually have this discussion. So regardless of his faith in the ball, he's having a civil discussion with us. In fact, I'd go as far as to say I'm far more impolite than he is. So, there we go.
Yeah. There are genuine people out there questioning things, and look, the fact that he goes on camera and has, there is an argument to be made, of course, for the spinning ball Earth, and people are at different stages of realization. But I suppose for me now at this stage, you need to go in, do your own research, and come to your firm and solid conclusions before you come to this, especially at a forum like this, where we've been doing the same thing and going through the same points for years now. Well, how many shows? 450 shows. So yeah, he needs to be a lot more up in his game, I think, before presenting nonsense CGI like he did yesterday. For goodness sake, I mean, how transparent is that? I actually think that that's all purposefully transparent as well, and it's tying into a greater picture. But I definitely would have a little bit more respect for him than the vast majority of the faceless, nameless cowards who just keep returning with the same arguments, tired as they are again and again.
I agree. I think it's one of JLB's points, which is to say that, especially with the moon landing, this stuff isn't really well polished and a super effective hoax. It's actually quite obvious. It's the other way around. It's obvious how fake it is if you're prepared to look at it with the slightest bit of discernment. So for all the people who look at it and go, well, that's obviously the moon, it's like, well, no, you're wired that way. You're not seeing men on the moon. It's obvious that you're not seeing that. But your belief tells you that you're seeing that, so you excuse anything and everything without even having to think about it. It's incredible. But I think you're right, P. They're not trying to make it really subtle. Far from it. In some instances, it's glaringly obvious. Cars in space? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's interesting. Tesla's come back on the scene again, isn't it? My own dad's about Tesla, the most famous man of his time in the age of moving pictures and all that. We only scanned a couple of pictures of the man. I don't think he actually existed. I think he was a counterpart part to Einstein, that other fraud. Albert Einstein, Einstein, one stone. Google image, Einstein's wife is what is it? I can't think of her. I'll think of her name in a second. And I shouldn't use her. It's a him. It's a butch man in drag. So yeah, I think Tesla was counterpoint to Einstein, and his time is now. Even though, as I say, when we look back at the man himself, I don't think there's much solidity for his own existence. My own thoughts are that he's just another character playing a part. And,
have you been watching JLB? Have you been watching JLB by any chance?
No. And a lot of respect for JLB. He's, of course, aware of 9/11, complete media hoax and all of that sort of stuff. But he falls short in terms of standing on any solid ground when it comes to the Earth and the Earth's shape. He adheres to the Simon Shack model, which is a very intricate and detailed model of the Earth. He goes along with the stationary ball Earth. And I think next to the flat Earth, this is the most appropriate sort of and detailed description of a fraud. You know, I still think, like, there's no evidence of any curvature. There's no evidence of any radius. And Simon Shack was a great man in terms of the work he did exposing 9/11 for the fakery that it was. But again, just like you were saying, ingrained in the narrative, ingrained in the images that we see are all of these anomalies which lead the investigator down a sort of pre-prepared path. You know, this is why I think there's a greater game going on here, and we need, as individuals, to move beyond the basics to sort of get through the bushes and see the clearer, bigger picture.
Just before that point's lost, because I do want to get that plug in. So I think JLB absolutely agrees with you, Pete, which is to say that based on primary source research, he thinks also that Tesla's just a made-up character. You know, he didn't actually exist at all. He's just been inserted into the narrative. And that's based on...
JLB kind of says that about everything without evidence. So, like, he says anything that happened over 80s years ago never happened. Like, the guy is complete counterintelligence, in my opinion. Counterintelligence works by, they'll say a bunch of things that are true, right? Like 9/11 or something. And then he'll insert it with things that aren't true. That's the counterintelligence. Like the intelligence, he'll give you true facts. That's the intelligence. And then counterintelligence, he adds a bunch of crap. Like he'll say, dinosaur bones are all a hoax. It's clearly not true. He'll say, you know, everything in history before 80 years ago is fake. It's ridiculous. Well, now I do agree, like Einstein and Tesla, you know, they might be kind of fishy, but JLB is counterintelligence for sure, 100%.
Okay,
I think he may have been in operation, but doesn't say anything about the actual man himself.
Well, just to back JLB, I'm not agreeing with him. I just want to back his point. So he's basing that on primary source research. In other words, any person that you think may or may not exist, you can go out and do primary source research, find primary sources of evidence for that person's existence. And based on his lack of primary source evidence for the existence of Tesla, he has concluded that he was a made-up character, as has Pete Shea. So check out JLB. I absolutely agree with his methodology in terms of research. So primary source is the only
his
way.
research is terrible, though. He says all the dinosaur bones are fake, and that's clearly not true. So
why is that clearly not true?
I agree with that as well. So I mean, I didn't
all
really...
dinosaur bones are fake.
Why did you find? Have you a dinosaur bone in your pants or something? I mean, how can you vouch for the?
There's tons of evidence. We have pictures of them. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay.
Yeah, we're not talking about shit in space.
Okay,
we're talking about dinosaur bones on the Earth that there are pictures of. Yes. Why are you laughing, you nincompoop?
No, but there is some legitimacy to this. Only it is the story about the dinosaurs being extremely old creatures and how they are supposed to be coming into the ground. That is the fictional part of it. But yeah, giant reptiles could definitely have existed.
I mean, we have pictures of dinosaur bones. Like, why are you laughing? Like,
what sort of percentage? What percentage of a full dinosaur has been discovered in any variety?
Dude, all the time. They've discovered dinosaur bones with like teeth marks in them. They've
Sure,
discovered like
Right,
them
just-
fighting each other
Pete,
fossilized. They've discovered eggs. There's
hear my
endless
question,
amounts of
Pete.
evidence.
My question is, what percentage of a full dinosaur skeleton, regardless of species, has been discovered? Give it me in a percentage. Do you know that answer?
Why would I know that?
Okay, well, you're asserting
I'm not a
something.
paleontologist.
Okay, well, you've just asked me a question. Why would you know that? Well, you don't know it, but you're still making
No,
assertions.
I know they have discovered full dinosaur fossils of the things.
So even though that would be 100% then. So you're asserting that there has been discoveries of 100% complete dinosaur bones.
Or nearly, yes.
Nearly,
yes.
never ever.
Now you're changing it again.
Like
so
98%. I don't know, dude. Like they've found full
that's
dinosaurs.
Fine. That's fine, Pete. I'm not having a go at you for not knowing, but I'm just saying, why not have a little look into that? That's all I'm saying.
Dude. It's retarded as hell. Oh my.
Okay, if your ignorance of this particular specific detail is something that you see as benign, fine. Let's just move on, P. It's no problem. It's no issue. I'm just saying it might be worth looking into if you don't know the answer. You don't need to get triggered about it. You don't need to get annoyed.
Dude, you're saying dinosaur bones don't exist. What the fuck?
I have a very important
that's
question.
Not what I'm saying.
For you.
Just for audience clarity, I'm not saying that dinosaur bones don't exist. Dinosaur bones don't exist. Anyway, I'm not necessarily saying that. They don't. They're not real. But anyway, I'm saying that it might be worth looking into the actual percentage of a complete skeleton of any species that has been discovered. That's all I'm saying, Pete. I'm not trying to change your belief in dinosaurs. If you want to believe in dinosaurs, that's perfectly acceptable by me. But if you want to assert that they've found 100% complete skeletons, it might be worth double checking whether or not your assertion is actually correct or not, as opposed to getting really angry about it.
Yeah, thanks. I had a very good question for him to make him see the possibilities. Because, yeah, it's not that hard to fossilize things. Fossils can be made very rapidly. And it's not hard to forge any type of skeleton, if it's all full stone, that is. And, yeah, you could bury that.
Can you share my screen now?
Ben?
Yeah.
Hello, Jose. Welcome back.
Thank you.
There we go.
Dinosaurs.
I'm giving Pete his dinosaurs back because he got very upset that we were taking his dinosaurs away from him. There we go. That's just for you, Pete.
No.
Where to take the kids in Manchester? Love it.
And Nathan, that one of the last videos that Jaron he posted, he showed a interview where some guy is offering like $20,000 to do some examination on tissue from dinosaurs bones, and the guy doesn't want to do it because he doesn't know who is gonna have that information. And the point that Jaron is saying is that if you're a scientist, it doesn't matter who is gonna have that information. If it's true, it doesn't really matter, right? And yeah, so I don't believe the dinosaurs. I don't know, not enough evidence.
Seen some really good models of them though. There's quite a lot of toys too, which to me says it's definitely real.
Pete, if you send me your address, mate, I'll post you a dinosaur.
Which dinosaur will that be? Must be a very small one.
It will be.
No, there were some dinosaurs that were small, according to the nonsense. Sorry, hands up on the panel who actually believes in dinosaurs then. There's 10. Is it 10? Yeah, 10 people on the panel. I'm going to say no. I'll start. Anybody else?
I don't.
I'm not so sure.
Okay, one maybe. So we've got two no's, one maybe.
I'm a maybe.
No from Jose.
So 2 maybes, 3 no's, and yeses. I'm going to count P as a yes. Even though it's dropped. Any more for any more? No one else going to vote? Yay or nay, Arwin? Dinosaurs? Or have you already voted?
Well, partially, maybe. There's a likelihood.
I'm going to count that as a yes. Any more?
Part of it, yeah. I think that ancient reptiles or ancient old reptiles may have existed.
I've got 3 no's, 2 maybes, 2 yeses.
What about Pete Shea?
What's the question? Was the dinosaurs? I was just making a cup of tea. Did dinosaurs exist?
Yeah, real or fake dinosaurs?
Not in the sense that it's presented to us by science.
Not in the official narrative way. Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
Maybe like Komodo dragons or giant iguanas and stuff like that. Reptiles, but not like like the dinosaurs.
Nathan mentioned primary source material. Google the term in inverted commas. Google 1649ish. You find that there is no primary source material that predates that year. So in terms of that dinosaur question, whatever realm was in existence beforehand, all of these different creatures might have had a reality associated with that. But in terms of the official narrative presented, not a chance. And I just posted a link in chat as well. You can go through the extensive research that's been done in that.
So you say 1649, and I don't know. Yeah, sure. I'm not saying that you're going to necessarily know the answer to this question, but surely the Vatican libraries and various other derivatives that are similar to that would have older texts than that, just without access.
I mean, how can you know access to that exactly? So how can the investigator, who, funnily enough, turns out to be Nico Haupt, who was one of the original 9/11 no-planers, and he was also a flat Earth man before the vast majority. So that he's a man put in place, I'm pretty sure that is the case. But as I look upon all of this as a game unfolding, and there's plenty of clue givers like Mark Sargent or Mark's Argent put in place. I get your point, Nathan. But from what he's been able to discover, no primary source material predates 1649ish, and that ties very well in with the dodo as well, and what that really represents. Anyone who is thinking in terms of a dumb bird with a real existence, well, for me, you're crazy. You just haven't looked into it enough. It is much more greater significance than that. Its discovery in 1598 for me ties in with the changing shape of the Earth, the changing map of the Earth, if you will, post-inundation. So 1649ish, Google that term and you'll get some very interesting results.
Pete, what do you think of the Tartarians and the star forts that are all over the world, essentially? What do you think of that?
It's fascinating stuff, isn't it? It's very scary possibilities as well. That some of the stuff that Martin Liedtke is exploring, it could all be part of this greater. We don't know who we are or where we are, Ranty. I entertain the possibility that this is a simulation, right? We are greater beings having a divided experience here. So this could be all part of the set, that's presented to us. But I do hold that previous to few short 100 years ago, there was a completely different realm in place, and all of these different facilities could have been part of that, and they sort of made a transition from before to after. It's a world rich in possibility.
What's astounded me is that it seems there's probably more star forts throughout the world than there is castles, yet everybody knows about castles and they've been taught by castles. You see them all the time in films, movies and stuff. I have never, ever, ever seen a film that had a star fort in it or was taught about star forts. And yet the prevalent, they're all over, and they're massive. They should be being taught in history if they were, but it seems like they're just trying to sweep it under the carpet and not talk about it.
Like everything else, where everything you think you know is absolute nonsense. But
and again, the mud floods as well. Blackpool, we have houses all throughout Blackpool, especially near the promenade, and they have the windows that are lower than the street. And you can tell that they're older. I'm actually working on a job right now. One of my jobs that I'm painting right now is actually that type of mud flood house. And I've actually had to get down there and been repairing the bricks and stuff. And you can tell a difference. The lower part, the lower window area that's underneath the street is a different type of sandstone to the one that's above it.
Ranty, I've been following that idea of the mud floods. I think it's a fascinating subject. Now, I used to live in a house in Stockport in Cheshire that had a cellar and there was a coal chute, and it also had a window going down to allow light to get in the cellar. Is it more than just a cellar that you're talking about?
Yeah. They have these. It's like like another floor. Essentially, it's like another floor.
So it's not just a coal storage.
No.
Right. Okay.
No, it's a proper room. They are like rooms that you can go into. You can go down the stairs, and they're told that the cellars. They're told to you that they're cellars, but they're not. I mean, they have a proper window in there, literal window, full window, like you would do on the first floor.
Yeah, the house I grew up in did have as well in the cellar a full window that went down below the garden. But I always just thought it was a place for storing food, and there was another section where the coal would have been thrown in from street level.
But why would they have a window there? I mean, that's the thing, you know. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. If there was a place where they would store and keep food cool, as well as another section of the cellar where the coal would fall into, they would need some sort of light down there.
Well, I've just been asked if I can take pictures. So the house, I will be working again on the house tomorrow. So I'll ask the owners if I can actually do a little bit of investigating with my P900, just take some photos and maybe do a little video of it. But you can clearly see that the two different type of brick, you know, the brick that's on top is been faced up. So it's like pretendy kind of to match in, but it doesn't match in. And this is what I'm repairing at the minute. And I can see that it's two different types. So why would they build it with two different types of material and put the window below the street? It makes no sense. No,
it's a fascinating subject. Who's the guy in Glasgow that's doing it?
I've got him on my. Hang on, let me find him.
He's got some fantastic places where there's obviously been a grand front door that's down below street level.
Rebel Without a Pause, he is.
That's the guy, yeah. He's some brilliant work.
And Martin Leakey, he's definitely one that you guys should be following in chat.
Yeah.
And they're talking about relatively recent history as well. It's amazing. I mean, we think we have a benchmark for normality, you know, and occasionally things like maybe big things like flat Earth come along, but we do tend to cling on to other things and hold them dear, whereas we have to let absolutely everything go. And, you know, not to have your mind so open, but yeah, we really have to question, the most pertinent question we need to be all asking ourselves is what is real? What is real? And I recommend to anyone, again, a big deal was made about it at the start, no forests and flat Earth. Go over it again, especially at this later stage, and look around you. Everything is sand and water. Now we ask where sand came from and what sand actually is. And
well, shouldn't it? These the ballers, the globers, the guys that believe that everything that they're told is the truth. When you see these things like the star forts, and they are, they are like castles. They're all over the world, and they are ginormous. I mean, for instance, Berlin is surrounded by one. Berlin is surrounded by one, and these, we never get taught this history. And you have to ask yourself, well, why aren't we ever taught this history? Why has nobody ever heard of it? I bet if a globe were, if they hadn't been on flat Earth, they would never have heard of a star fort prior to me mentioning it right now, or maybe in the last year or so. And you've got to ask that question: why are we being hidden? Why is this history being hidden from us? And who built them? Where did they come from? Because essentially, we don't have any documentation for these.
Yeah.
They were built by the humans of that time because it was a miniature golden age.
Yeah.
Where lots of things were happening. There's a lot of power, a lot of technology being taken out of the box to get these things made. And then they were punished for it or something, or the mud flood happened, however you want to see it.
I mean, I think it's all connected. I mean, if you look back at some of the architecture that they had in, going back to the 1800s with the spires and stuff that could essentially get the energy from the ether. This is what we're finding that they had technology back then or ways of harvesting energy that we don't even have now.
Yeah, a bigger question is post 9/11, we have all these facilities now. The internet took off, and we get to explore these areas and ponder on them and communicate to others about them. So I think this is all playing in to a greater picture, a greater game And in one sense, I think the future is certainly more certain than the past. You know, we know nothing about the past. We really don't. We've been fed a whole bunch of lies. And you talk about all of these baller antagonists. I'm just absolutely convinced, after having so much experience with them, they're all led into they live a different reality in one sense. They led into deeper truths than us, and they're playing. I think they take on the roles willingly, and they're playing their part. Hopefully for the good, for the better, in terms of the greater awakening of the masses. I think everything is culminating, and there is an end date always in sight. And for me, I mean, this year, 420 years after the discovery of the dodo, I think is a very pivotal year, whatever is going to come. But yeah, again, we have been given these facilities for a definitive reason. If you take 9/11 as a literal thing, you lose the meaning. It is rich in symbolism, and these are the sort of areas as individuals that we need to be sort of delving into and trying to decode. Let me just say about the Twin Towers where I'm at. This is all about unity, division, reunification. So we have two towers, right? Two pillars, if you will, unbirthed into the ground, and rebirthed in this place is a unified whole. If you look at the structure of one world trade, you have upside down triangles, apexes inverted, which is the male and the female international recognized symbols in harmonious unity. Yeah, talking about gathering spires, gathering electricity or energy from the ether, I think this also plays a very pertinent part. We live, for me, my story, we live in a broken system. The barrier collapsed, right, due to the destruction of the giant crystalline conductive trees. This is where all the sands earth-wide come from. And now we're in a process of reinflating that barrier. This is where all the steel towers earth-wide come into things. And yeah, but that's a deeper story. I've gone into that myself on my own channel. But I think it is about the individual reformulating their picture, and that story is coming from, it's within all of us. And for me, yeah, we are greater beings, and the time is now. So I think it doesn't do to get stuck on just the same basic talking points, the flat and the stationary earth, when there's so much more to discover. That's the external story. Now there's the internal story, and the questions for the individual to ponder on and to come to try and figure out. You know. And science, the scientific method won't cover a lot of that. You know, it has its limits.
I want to loop it back because I think that if you all put everything together with the star fortresses and all the what we now call Tesla technology, electricity type technologies that were apparently widespread in use during that era, it is not that far off to assume that the story about Tesla inventing all of this is a cover story. It's like a story to give a reason as to why it was hidden, suggesting, lying, that it wasn't there before he invented it. I think that is very, and he may have been a great guy. He may have been a master of this like a primary guy in that field of that expertise of the engineers that do that, or somebody that has rediscovered it.
Well, I sent Nathan a photo
to suggest that he alone invented it. That's extremely implausible.
Nathan, do you think you could put that photo up yesterday that I sent you for the Tesla car, the one they launched into space? There we go. Because we were told that this came directly off the showroom floor, essentially, as it left the factory. This is what we would see, and this is the Tesla one that they sent into space has no rear view mirror in. Go figure. It's supposed to have its rear view mirror, but it didn't have it. So you have to ask yourself, well, why would they omit that, and why would they tell us that it came straight off the showroom floor if they're making modifications to it and sending it into space without a rear view mirror? So why would they be hiding that?
Objects in the rear view mirror look rounder than what they appear.
Could you imagine how difficult it would have been for them to try and do the stars in reverse?
Sorry, just the mirror that's in the top image, Ranty.
Yes.
Why does it look like the air vent can be seen through the mirror?
What do you mean?
Can you see
Yeah,
the
then.
what? Can you see the
It's
audience?
just the, yeah, it's just the angle of the
well,
thing.
You're going to tell me that here's the mirror.
Yeah. That isn't the one that went to space, mate.
This one?
Yeah, the one that's circled isn't the one that went to space. The one at the bottom is the one that went to space.
Yeah, I get it. This is the production car, right?
Yeah.
So if this is the production car and this is the rear view mirror, why can I see the vent through the mirror?
Perspective. You can't see the vent through the mirror. What you're looking at, Nate?
Well, I'm
just the mirror.
I'm going to draw over what I think I can see, and to me, what is this in the mirror? Is this something that's behind that just happens to look exactly like this?
No, look on the bottom image. You see the bottom image where it says no mirror.
Yeah. Well, from this angle, right?
Yeah. Can you see those?
You see these two bumps? You see these two bumps here?
Yeah.
Right. Well, there's those two bumps, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, this is the mirror.
The mirror's above those two bumps. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, from this angle, it looks like I can see this vent through the reflective surface of the mirror.
I don't see it.
Am I imagining this? Can anybody else just back up what I'm saying? Because as far as I can see, it looks like a photoshopped mirror that's had a very bad job done it, and somebody's left part of the background in the mirror. I mean, maybe I'm just seeing things.
Yeah, it looks like it's parts in the desert somewhere, and it's. You see the top left, you can see where it's sort of road that it's on, or
yeah, this reflection here looks legit. Yeah.
Yeah.
This reflection here. Maybe no. I see what's going on. This is a circle around it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the mirror. I'm just so colorblind. I didn't notice. It's a different color. Okay. This is the mirror. It's above the vent. Cool. God, I'm such an idiot. Okay.
Anyway, back to the point that I was saying, that they have no mirror in the Tesla one that they sent to space.
Fine.
So there we go.
In this other red circle.
Yeah.
I never came across that point before.
I was going to ask you, Nathan.
I happen to think that Seth MacFarlane plays the role of Elon Musk, but that's a different story. But regarding the mirror or no mirror, I hold that the sky is a mirror. We have a watery electromagnetic mirror-like barrier, and when we look at all of the luminaries, we're looking at this sort of contoured mirror and its expressions, right? So that's interesting. Just might be a little clue for us in one sense. Who knows? But yeah, this is all blatant.
It organically rolls out of the tongue, right, Pete? When you say, "Oh, Michael McFarlane is Elon Musk," and then you continue. That's hilarious.
Well, no, look, Jose, I've been through this on my own hangout. I've done the comparisons. These people wear facial prosthetics, right? I mean, it doesn't matter to me anymore who calls me crazy. I'm crazy for everything I make up or I come across with. But Will Smith playing the role of Barack Obama, that sounds...
No, that's been debunked. You were in the debate once, and I was there in the 24/7 about a month ago, and you've been debunked. There were videos of they both together.
Hang on, Jose. So let me just dwell on that point, because you say it's been debunked. I asked anyone to produce more than 2 pictures of Barack Obama and Will Smith in the same image, in the same capture together, right? Because I couldn't find any more than 2. So someone came along and produced a clip from Oprah Winfrey. Now, I hadn't seen that. So you call that debunked? Well, I dare anyone to look that clip up in YouTube, Oprah Winfrey, Barack Obama, and Will Smith, and tell me that it isn't photoshopped the fuck.
Okay,
I haven't been photographed with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That doesn't make me Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There's 3. That was the 3rd one. I was waiting for the 3rd before I started calling you on it, P. So we've had Mark Sargent's been installed into the movement, and then you slipped that into a different point. So I can't repeat it exactly. Then we've had Seth MacFarlane is Elon Musk, and now we've got Will Smith is Barack Obama.
Will Smith is absolutely Barack Obama, Nathan. Let me give you a few others. Richard Dreyfuss played the role of Bernie Madoff. Right?
Okay, but what
so
are you basing this on?
Let me tell you, hang on. Let me tell you, this isn't just something I pull out of my ass, right? Let me tell you how you can clarify this for yourself. When an actor is wearing these facial prosthetics like Patricia Steere wears, right? It leaves a mark on the skin if they're doing it over an elongated period of time. So the actor himself, when you get a picture of him and compare it to the guy, the character he's playing, you can match up the aspects, right? It will leave an imprint on the face. And this is where turning the picture upside down really helps, because we're used to taking a lot of things for granted, looking at things in an upright position. When you turn it upside down, we're not used to or familiar with looking at faces like that. So any artificiality jumps out at you, especially in terms of blood flow. So regarding Barack Obama and Will Smith, I'm 100% certain. Jose says this was debunked. Man, go and look at that Oprah Winfrey, Will Smith, and Barack Obama, and it's blatantly photoshopped. The two most famous black men who are friends, first of all. Will Smith was said to have helped Barack Obama get elected on both occasions, but there's no pictures of them together. There's no interviews of them together, but there are lots of clues there. So I don't, I say these lightly because I know this isn't the place to get involved with these things, but I have been through my own analysis of them, and I stand by it. Seth MacFarlane being Elon Musk, I wouldn't go 100%, but pretty certain on that as well. Richard Dreyfuss being Bernie Madoff, 100% certain on that. And there's a few others as well. And give me another one. Mark Thatcher plays the role of Theresa May. Theresa May is a man in drag. This is where the transgender thing comes into it. You think a woman is a woman and a man is a man? Yeah, well, we might have to think again. But again, yeah. I can back up stuff that I say, or at least
let me get it right. You think evidence. Mark Thatcher, the arms dealer, is actually Theresa May? Let me get that right. That's what you're saying. Yeah,
that's right, and that's thanks to, I knew Theresa May was a bloke in drag, right? Look at Theresa May's life story in Wikipedia. It's nonsense, ridiculous.
I just want to say that Pete's opinions do not necessarily reflect the opinions of other people on this panel or this show.
No, these are stuff that I found out, but I say that thanks to, I knew Theresa May was a man in drag, but someone called Sandy123, how you doing, Sandy, who's participates in your hangout here, Nathan, and
And do you think that George Bush was that weird psycho guy?
George Bush, that's another finding of mine. George Bush played the role of Charles Manson, right?
There you go, yeah, that's it.
It's all theater, and just because something sounds ridiculous to your ear, it also sounded ridiculous to my ear, right? But I went along, did the necessary sort of investigations, and satisfied myself that it has to be the case, right? There's so many points of intersection here that, well, yeah, and now we come to realize it is all theater, or certainly I do anyway, and these ideas, that's what I said, again, we have to ask ourselves the primary question, what is real? What is real? Why do you hold to something that's sort of normal, Why do you...
And you got the right to do those analyses and believe whatever you want, Nobody has to follow you. It's your own thing,
But you can prove it to yourself. Just hire an investigator and take a picture of Obama and Will Smith at the same time.
How are you going to do that, man? The two most famous black men in America.
That's the way you can do it, right? I mean,
how are you going to do that? That's stupid, SX. That's just stupid.
What do you mean that's stupid? They're here on Earth. They're not out of the reach.
Right. So hang on. So as I just said, the two most famous black men who were friends, one helped the other get elected, yet there's no pictures of them together. There's 3 captures that I've seen, and all 3 of them are blatantly photoshopped.
But it's all hearsay. It doesn't prove anything.
Okay. SX. No, it's not hearsay. I have done my own investigation.
All right.
Again, I have compared the 2, and one is the other in a facial prosthetic mask, right?
I've got another one for you, Pete. Someone in chat says that they reckon Anthony Riley is really Del from Beyond the Imaginary Curve. Yeah, do you think that's true?
I know, yeah. It's so ridiculous, right? It's so ridiculous. Even that men might dress up as women. But Antonio Subarat's found out the hard way, we're led to believe. A friend of yours, Nathan, I mean, he found out the hard way that that's actually a reality, at least according to him. So, I mean,
what are you talking about? Antonio found what out?
What do you
mean?
Are
you in a chat right now, Riley?
Patricia Steere, man.
Yeah, he went on. They were engaged, and he went on to Pancho Pete's channel in graphic detail. He described how Patricia was a bloke dressed in drag.
So what you're saying is Antonio
No.
couldn't work out her sex at
Total
the age of
horse
47 or whatever
manure.
age he is.
Excuse me.
No, we're talking is Anthony Riley is in a shed right now, raging behind the
I
camera,
didn't
right?
say this. When I came up with the term ramshackle vagina, it didn't come out of the blue. It was after hearing Antonio going into graphic detail about his experiences with Patricia Steer, his fiance, and how it turned out that she was a male who had
Right, and I went and saw Father
Fantasist, and
Christmas
he's
last week.
disgusting.
I saw Father Christmas last week, right? It's a story, Pete. Do you think that's proof?
Yeah, that's out of context. Yeah, no, let's not talk about it.
Facial prosthetics, Anthony. I've done the analysis. You can see it clearly. Get a high definition picture of Patricia, and you can see the prosthetics, right? So whoever is behind the mask, you know, this is from Anthony as well, a well-respected flat earther. He was a friend of Nathan's here, right? He's a friend of Martin
Not so
Leakey.
well
He's
respected.
a friend of
He
both
isn't at
Patricia
all. Pete, what are you talking about?
These are Mr. and Mrs. Flat Earth, I guess. Mark Sargent and Patricia Steer. I mean,
Dude.
listen. What are you going to do?
If Antonio can't work out her sex at the age of 47 or whatever age he is, that's his problem, right?
He found out the hard way, I'm telling you.
So you say.
So he says, not me.
So that makes it true because he said it. That makes it a story,
No.
Pete.
Yeah,
It
it's kind of it isn't first person or first hand experience, is it? So
It doesn't make it true, but he's a well-respected flat eurther, right?
In your
by
opinion,
whom? By whom?
Well, in Nathan's opinion as well. Nathan and Antonio were friends. They met in person. I never met this guy in person. I know he's
you're
a
saying
plan.
he's a well-respected
Hang on.
flat earther.
Hang on. Well, listen, at the start he was anyway. Then he ostracized himself. Right. But hang on. I know
Is
that
it
he's
not
an
more
actor.
likely that he got dumped and he didn't like it?
No. Patricia Steer is not who she said she is. Patricia
How do
Magical.
you know?
Mystery Tour. Come on, man.
I've seen bills with her address on it. I've seen her driver's license. I mean, what evidence would you accept that she is who she
That
says she
doesn't
is?
mean anything.
Why?
Transgender. Have you ever heard of the band?
She's got pictures of her growing up all through her childhood on her Facebook.
Man, that doesn't matter. People who can be transgender at the very earliest of ages.
See that this is what I meant yesterday when I say people just go too far, you know, and they see things.
Man, get the heck out of
She's
it.
got
I mean,
pictures
It's
growing up
disgusting.
all
This
over her Facebook. What are you talking about, man?
what does that that doesn't prove anything, man.
So
Come
let's
on.
compare the evidences, right? You've got Antonio's word, which is secondhand coming through you, and on her Facebook, you can see pictures of her growing up as a child.
Right. So what?
So which is the
he
stronger
got
of the two
dumped and
evidence?
didn't like it. That's it. He got dumped and didn't like it. That's all.
Yeah, he got dumped and he didn't like it. That's it.
Well, that's fair enough. That's a possibility. But why does Patricia Steer wear facial prosthetics? Why is she so out of proportion?
Because she's rich.
Yeah, sure she is. How did she become rich, Anthony?
Mum and dad.
That's not our business, man.
Yeah, it's nonsense, Pete.
Listen, she wears facial prosthetics. I can post you a picture now pointing out the facial prosthetics, right?
Even if that was
I don't care
true,
what
what does
she
it
wears.
prove?
What does it prove? Cumulative evidence, right? So there's something else going on here. Patricia Steer is Mrs. Flat Earth, right? Along with Mark Sargent, Mr. Flat Earth. But as I know, these people are clue givers.
Pete, have you been
Where's
to
the
her
proof that
Facebook
she's actually a man?
Hang on a sec. Pete, have you been to her Facebook page and looked at her photographs of her growing up as a child?
I've seen some of the photographs that she's put up, yeah.
And you dismiss them as real?
Listen, man, I'm telling you, right, that if someone is transgendered at an early age and there's an agenda being played out here, you can get a boy to look like a girl, especially if you bring them up in that manner.
Pete,
right?
do you have Patricia Steer as a friend on Facebook on
No,
your
I don't.
Facebook?
No,
Right.
she doesn't.
So how would you have seen the pictures?
Because Mark Sargent or herself posted pictures of herself growing up on her own channel.
And she's clearly female all the way through her life.
Well, that's not what quite a few people have to say about it, Anthony, and you know that as well. So, Arwen,
I've
you're
heard the
talking about-
stories.
Hold on
Yeah,
a
and
second.
I've also
Hold on,
seen the
hold
evidence
on,
both
hold on.
ways.
Hold on. Quite a few people. Who are quite a few people?
Oh, come on! Don't tell me you haven't, Nathan.
Pete, no one thinks she's a bloke anymore.
Hold on. I
Nathan
want
on
an
this
answer.
then. We're friends with
Pete.
Antonio.
Pete. You said quite a few people. Who are quite
Yeah.
a few people, please?
Oh man.
Antonio,
Hold on.
Will
Just let
Smith,
Pete- just let
Barack
Pete
Obama.
answer.
Well, okay. Well,
the dodo.
not use name.
Can you all just let Pete answer? I'd like a direct answer to this.
Okay. I'll try think of okay. Well, Awake Souls, for instance, is
Woo! He's a credible witness, isn't he?
Well, you asked for. Are you saying that this is a new idea out there? Then
No.
Okay, well let's listen to what he's got to say, Pete.
Right.
Pete.
Yeah. Are you saying that this is a new idea out there? Come on, Antonio.
Hold on. We've got we've got Awake Souls. Is that it? Awake Souls. Who also?
No, come on, man.
Hold on. Anybody else?
MGTV.
Ooh, they're credible as well, Pete.
Well, you asked me for names. I don't know anything about these characters, but I'm just saying that the idea isn't. I'm not just bringing this up. It isn't. I'm not pulling it out of my ass.
Everybody considered it maybe 12 months, 18 months ago, and most people have come to the conclusion that they can work out what sex she is by looking at her.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So I mean, you've heard of ladyboys in. You don't ever take a trip to Bangkok, Anthony, right? Because you might end up in places that you never meant to.
That's a fair point, but I'm pretty certain that at my age of my life, I can work out someone's sex by looking at her.
Hold on, Anthony. I've just been watching literally yesterday documentaries about Bangkok, and one of the guys travels through Bangkok, and his exact words were, if you can't tell the difference between a ladyboy and a real girl, then that's your issue, and you need to address your issues. That's what he said.
Agree. I'm quite happy, Pete, knowing that I can establish someone's sex by looking at her, and especially in Patricia's case, because for a woman of her age, she's beautiful. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And hey, if Patricia is listening and she's feeling bad because people are calling her a guy, even if she is or she wears facial prosthetics, everybody in this panel would still hit that. So don't feel bad.
No need. No need. Let's make it more derogatory than it already has been by Pete. Pete, you've given a couple of names of the most disreputable people in this scene as your sources.
Okay, well, listen, I don't.
Why does that? What does it matter if it's a boy or a girl? What's the problem?
It matters a lot because there's perception involved here, and the flat Earth arena has been controlled from the very outset. For me, everyone, all of the.
How we know you're not controlled?
Hold on, I don't want to get off this. I want to draw. Guys, please, I want to draw a conclusion to this subject. So, Pete, you've completely ignored what I've just asserted. Your sources. No. Your sources are the most disingenuous sources you could find.
Right. So Antonio was a friend of yours. Is that correct, Nathan?
What was that word? Was?
Yeah, he was a friend of yours, right? So is he a psychopath? Is he a psychopath for denigrating the good name of this person who's another friend of yours? Is he a psychopath? And how come?
Hang on. Let's start at the beginning, Pete.
Instinct so bad that you couldn't see through his psychopathy.
Let's start at the beginning. They dated. It fell apart. It ended. One person has been shouting the abuse. The other person has never said a word. What does that tell you?
I know what's going on here, Anthony.
Come on, you don't.
I know a bigger picture here. I'm telling you this. By nature, we are female and male within one. We are in a divided state, and we are being made aware of these possibilities more and more. Now, I just put to fakeologists, and it's called EGI or...
No. Pete, you're doing it again. Pete, no, because you're going on to a different subject, Pete. It's totally unreasonable.
Not a different subject.
Yes, you are. My specific question was about the absolutely disingenuous sources you've used, and you've tried to attach one of them to me with a past tense. So that says it all. Right. So what about the other two sources? Are you telling me that I should take the word of Awake Souls?
No, I'm not. But he
right, well, what about the other source? What was your third source?
Hang on.
What was your third source? What was your third source? So your third source... Why are you talking all over me, P? I've kept quiet and let you spout your nonsense. Right? Why are you talking all over me?
Okay.
Right. So your other source is MGTV?
They're not my sources.
I asked you where you got your sources from. You listed them.
No, I said this is well known. This conspiracy, if you will, is well known.
It might be believed, not well known.
Right. So, Anthony.
Never heard it.
So your sources are shite, P. Why are you defending?
They're not sources, Nathan.
You're doing it again, P. You're getting annoyed because we're ripping apart your shit sources. Unless you want me to believe. You're doing it again, P. I haven't finished my sentence. I've let you spout nonsense based on what people have told you and your trust in MGTV and Awake Souls. So, what gives, P? Why the shit sources?
Okay. So, first of all, they're not sources.
Yeah, they are. I asked you where you got this information from. You gave them by name. They are your sources. Why are you lying? I asked you where your sources were, and these are what you gave.
They're not sources then, right?
No, they're not. They're just people talking shit. And you believe them because you're an idiot, Pete. Yeah? How dare you?
How dare I what, Nathan?
Be an absolute prick to one of my friends based on what some assholes have told you. Told you, not proved to you.
No one has told me anything.
Yeah, I asked you where you got the information from and you told me who told you.
I know Patricia Steere is a fucking actor, right?
Don't swear that's your sign of you being demolished based on your belief in what people who are about as disingenuous as they get have told you.
This is what you're trying to do, is create a straw man now, right?
It's not straw man. You have told me where you got this information from. Stop lying. You told me what your sources were.
I said that this idea is well known throughout...
Idea now? A minute ago it was fact, now it's just an idea.
Right, I said that this idea... It's not how...
No, you didn't say this idea, you said it was fact.
I said that this idea was well known throughout the arena, and you mentioned for some people, not sources.
You mentioned them. Sources. I asked a question, where'd you get this information from? I didn't mention any names, you did. Stop putting your shit on me.
And I said...
Yeah, you've also tried to attribute one of your sources to me. Stop it, P. I'm not backing your claim. How dare you attribute your sources to me? How dare you? Don't attribute your shit sources to me. These cunts, Pete, listen. These cunts that you deal with are cunts. And by association, that makes you a cunt. Do you hear me, P? You're a cunt. You hear me, Pete? You're a cunt.
My friend.
Oh my.
He wasn't my fucking friend. He was your friend.
Was. Yeah, I discovered he was a cunt. That's what I discovered, Pete. You take the word of a cunt, that makes you a cunt.
I don't take any word of anything, right?
Yeah, you do. That's exactly what you've done. You're repeating pretty much verbatim what these three cunts have told you. Now you want to tell me that they're my sources. Now you want to tell me that they're the names I've brought up. They're not. It's you. Take responsibility, man. How old are you? Take responsibility.
I'm 46.
I'm taking the word of people.
I'm not taking any word of anybody. I've done my own.
That's exactly what you're doing, you complete retard.
And she wears facial prosthetics.
We asked you your sources. We asked you your sources. We asked you your sources and you told us. We asked you your sources and you told us. Are you going to tell us that they're not your sources?
My own analysis.
Oh, your own analysis of someone you've never met. You've never even stood next to her.
I can tell when someone is wearing
a really? What, based on a TV presentation? What, like people can tell what's gone to space, Pete?
Stop it.
Sorry, Pete. Same as people can tell what's been to space based on what's been on TV. People believe 9/11 based on what they've seen on TV, Pete. You're going to tell me that you know based on what you've seen on TV? You pathetic, disingenuous cunt!
Oh, you're very passionate about this, Nathan.
Yeah, I am passionate about people like you, who basically repeat shite based on what idiots have told them.
You think I don't know your game?
I've not got a game. My point here is to point out to my audience what a complete arsehole you are by repeating shite that people have told you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's what's happening, Pete. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Open your eyes to the situation that has befallen you. You are being ripped a new asshole based on your disingenuous sources and their absolute shite that you have simply believed. Just like the ballers believe NASA, what they've seen on TV, your assessment of what you've seen on your monitor. What a pathetic piece of shit.
Yeah, you wouldn't talk like that to my face, man.
I'm talking to you like it now, Pete.
Get on camera then.
I've been in the presence of Patricia Steere and I've made my assessment. You've seen her on TV. You probably just want to fuck her and you are jealous. That is your problem, Pete. Like most old, ugly bastards, they see a pretty woman and they want to bring her down a notch because they'll never get to fuck her.
Is that right?
Yeah, you can laugh about it. That tells me it's true. That little laugh, Pete, tells me it's true.
Well, I wonder, you're the one who finds her extremely attractive and you can't see through the mask. But we all know that you're fucking playing your own role, Nathan, right? You're involved.
Yeah, you do it again, P. Bring it back onto me. We've all figured out what the game is here, P. Yeah? Yeah, you've got a little infatuation with Patricia Steere. So you want to smear her because you'll never have her. How pathetic. I hope everyone in the audience starts laughing at you and taking the piss out of you, like you feel it's necessary to take the piss out of somebody you've never met before, based on what idiots have told you.
Take the piss out of her.
Yeah, you're taking the piss out of her. You're taking the piss out of her gender. Yeah, that's all you're doing. Taking the piss, trying to bring somebody you've never met down a notch because you'll never get to sleep with them. It's pathetic.
I don't want to fucking sleep with them.
Right, why are you swearing so much then? Why are you using that word so much? I don't get it. Why'd you talk about her vagina then?
I come up with the term ramshackle vagina because...
Yeah, so why do you do that, P? I would say that you've been thinking about that person in a sexual way. That's the only thing that's going on here. Yeah, it's pretty obvious to everyone watching what's going on. And you've decided to smear that person with nonsense and bullshit from complete assholes. Now, you don't like that. That's why you're getting very angry about it.
No, I'm getting very angry because you're a coward, Nathan. You wouldn't speak like this face to face to me, right? I know you're fucking playing your part as well.
No, afraid not, P.
Pete,
I know you're playing your part as well. You think you would dare call me a cunt in real life?
Peter,
yeah,
listen.
Yeah, I would. To your face. I'd get
see
right up in your
Get on
face and say
camera
it
at
to you,
least
Pete.
and fucking look at me when you're doing that.
No problem. I'll put my camera on if you like.
Yeah.
In your most aggressive, like, smarmy accent, Nathan. You know what to do.
Hey, Pete, I'm on camera. Wanna talk to me?
Yeah, turn around and face your camera, man. I'm nothing against you.
Oh, sorry, Nathan.
Yeah, I've nothing against you, man.
So, when are we going to actually address the issue in hand then, Pete? The fact that you have taken the word of a few men and what you've seen on TV.
No, well, I haven't just done that, right?
So what do you base your evidence on?
I base my evidence on, I dare anyone to go out there and get a fucking high definition image of Patricia Steer and find the facial prosthetics.
No swearing.
Facial prosthetics don't
let's
prove
just get it straight.
transgenderism.
Let's just get it straight, Pete.
Right, it doesn't
So
prove it,
it's
right?
based on what people will go and see on TV then. So that you're saying go and get a snapshot of what you have seen on TV, which is exactly what the assertion was, P. You've just backed my point. Hello? Yeah? You've been asked by Arwin what else you've got other than what's already been asserted.
Pete, have you stopped and think that maybe she's just using to cover up a little bit of the wrinkles or anything? I mean, come on, man. This is
I mean, if Patricia ends up listening to this, I hope she can hear it in my voice. This is heartbreaking to be doing this. Necessary, but heartbreaking.
Why is that, Nathan? Why is that? Because you're part of
I'll say it nice and calm while you get nice and triggered. Because I don't like dealing with cunts. And you're a cunt, P. You've taken the word of assholes who want to smear somebody, and you've just decided to run with it based on what you've seen on TV. Everything you criticise...
Here you go with your flimsy arguments, Nathan.
It's not a flimsy argument. You have literally taken the word of 3 disingenuous assholes, and you have taken what you have seen on TV, and then you have come up with a conclusion.
Pete, may I ask you a question? If I may. So, you have denied the evidence for her gender that has been shown to you. So, what piece of evidence would convince you that she is a female? A hypothetical situation.
Good question.
Well, not that I ever get to meet her. What evidence? Without being fucking intimate about it, I mean...
That's the answer. His answer after a long pause and a giggle was to talk about being intimate with her.
Well, I mean, for...
Yeah, you stutter, you dirty old pervert. We all know why you're smearing this woman. I've said it already, I'm not going to repeat it. We all know what's going on, Pete.
Get on camera, Nathan, you fucking coward.
Yeah, you have a good little rage about this truth. Yeah, the truth hurts, Pete. You dirty old pervert. Yeah, we all know what's going on here. You'll never get to be with that woman, Pete. Just accept it.
I wouldn't fucking...
Yeah, you rage on, mate. Pete, you're a pathetic piece of shit. Yeah? I'd say it to your face. I'll say it on camera right now. Let's get my camera up while Pete rages in the background. I'll make a few disclaimers and a few apologies, I think, first. So, if Patricia Steer does get to watch this, my sincerest apologies. I do feel it was necessary, which is why I let it roll. Pete Shea is a disgusting human being. He's decided to smear somebody that he can never have. That's the bottom line. That's the only reason he's done it. He's made very clear in the words that he's used, his giggly little schoolboy act. It's pathetic. Yeah? Now, I don't want to have this conversation with Pete. It's come upon a debate about Flat Earth. It's related because Patricia Steer is a prevalent person in this arena, and Pete has decided to smear her because he's not been intimate with her. He's made that clear. So, Pete, you're a disgusting human being. Yeah? I'm not insincere in my assertion. If I was to see you in person, I would assert it to you face to face, eyeball to eyeball, and use the foul language that I've used because it's absolutely what I do believe about you. Yeah? With that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate, and of course a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then you know what to do, but if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Darwin, and we had this discussion, Arwen, over at Jamie Brown's, and you were the exact same attitude. And that leads me to know that you're protecting something as well. I don't give a shit about this. I don't give a shit about this, but I know there's deception involved. And Nathan and his fucking smarminess there, you know.
Don't swear, man.
You wouldn't go on camera. Not to mind dreaming of saying some shit like this to my face. I'd say anything I have to say to anybody.
I think he had a snare, and that's why you're so extremely triggered.
Yeah, just hang on a
like
second.
a 6-year-old.
Let's slow it down, Pete. I think Apollo's question was valid. What evidence would you accept that to show that she's female?
Right. Well, I posted a link there, right? And it goes through the different physiological differences between male and female. Hang on, please. You asked me a question, right? If there was a necessary examination done to try to determine what sex she was, if she fucking ticked these boxes, then you know, I'd have to acquiesce.
So you'd want to have a little look at her genitals, basically, is what you're saying, Pete. You'd want to have a damn good look at them, yeah?
So what you're saying, Pete, you can't tell whether she's male or female. Is that what this boils down to?
I can't tell. I didn't hear what you said there, Anthony.
Does this boil down? It seems to me that this boils down to the simple question that Pete Shea can't tell what sex she is.
Man, a certain person might look a certain way, right? Are you telling me this is the first you've heard of the transgender agenda?
Right, we're talking about Patricia and whether you think she's male or female. Not the just keep on topic.
Listen to me, Anthony. Listen, there's more to this story. I got a capture of
me and Nathan have both met her in real world, Pete. She's a woman.
Right. Right. Well, look.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
I haven't met her in real world. All I can do is go on certain evidences.
Yeah,
right?
but that's a limitation.
What evidence?
Hang on, please. What started all of this?
What evidence?
Hang on,
what evidence? What evidence? What you've seen on a screen and what people have told you, Pete.
What started all of this, right, was Antonio Subrats coming out talking about his fiance, who was really a man.
Antonio didn't start this.
So let me get it straight. Hold on, Pete. Let's take it through some logical steps. So he was going to marry her.
He dumped him.
Right, Pete. So you think that before they got married, they hadn't slept together? That he wouldn't have been able to figure out whether she was male or female before proposing? What kind of fucking idiot are you? Think about it, Pete. Think about it, Pete.
Camera.
Think. You want me on camera? Why? What's the big deal for me to call you a tosser?
Because at least look me in the fucking face when you're insulting me.
Yeah, I'm not insulting you. I'm pointing out the very obvious nature of what's going on, and you don't want to accept it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm asking a question. Do you think before they got engaged, he hadn't been in a position to figure out whether or not she was a fucking man?
He is a fucking actor himself.
Excuse me, Pete, you're not answering my question. You're just shouting at me. In the pit. Pete, why are you getting so triggered? Is it because you've got a lapse in your cognition?
Let me say this to you. That's why I asked Martin Leakey. How can you... Yeah, put your camera down and I can look at you. That's
Hey,
why
is
I'm
it
Is it because you've got a lapse in cognition, Pete?
Friends with both.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, right.
Is it because it's a bit of a lapse in cognition? Somebody's gone with somebody. They've been together. They've got engaged. You're telling me that in that period you wouldn't have figured it out already?
Right, hang on then. Let me tell you this.
Answer my question. Don't tell me anything, you fuckwit. Tell me, were they together long enough for him to figure it out before they got engaged? Fuckwit.
Both of them are acting their fucking part.
Oh, so
right?
they're both actors now. Oh, you've changed your tune, have you, fuckwit?
No, I haven't changed the tune.
Yeah,
right?
you have.
Because
You're
I
a
said this to Martin
fuckwit.
Lee King.
You don't want to admit your own stupidity, Pete. You're a fuckwit.
Pete,
Yeah,
listen to me. Give me 1 second.
Your judgment
give me
is
1
called
second.
into question here. that
Not
you
my
fucking
judgment,
associate yourself
fuckwit.
with a
Your
psychopath
judgment.
who goes
Your
around
judgment,
saying
Pete.
sort of things about
You
women,
are
dirty
a
name.
fuckwit.
I
There's
know
no
both
two
of them
ways
are
about
actors
it, and
and I've said this
everybody
to
now
Martin.
knows it, Pete. You're a fuckwit. Everybody realises it.
I don't give a fuck what everyone realizes.
Yeah, well, they all realise you're a fuckwit. There's no two ways about it, fuckwit. Everybody knows it. You take the word of man and what you see on TV, despite all the shit you spout about doing the total opposite.
You are a prostitute.
You want to
You're a
tell
prostitute.
people about how they
What the
shouldn't be
fuck?
just taking what they see on TV about 9/11, but you do it with other people, don't you, fuckwit?
Good point.
Yo, 1 second here.
Yeah,
Pete,
what a fucking hypocrite. You tell people about what they shouldn't do, and you do it yourself, don't you, Pete? You pathetic
You don't know the
pervert.
extent of the
We all
research
know
I have
that you
done,
just want to
right?
fuck her. We all know it, Pete, you giggly little twat.
The man fucking protests too
Yeah,
much.
it was all live, Pete. Everyone got to see you giggling and then talking about examining her. We all know what's going on. Your tells are fucking blatant. You're just a dirty old pervert who wants to fuck somebody you'll never get to be with.
Nathan, were you?
Yeah, you're just a dirty old man.
Will you change? I'm 46. That's not old.
Yeah, look old, dirty old man.
you look old. Yeah, you're just 3 years older than me. You look like shit.
Yeah.
Hey, I
You look
work
like
in Publix.
you
I work
look like
in a
you'll
grocery
never
store.
get
You know,
laid
there's
ever
a,
again.
There's a gym.
Yeah, and
there's
I'd be
a
pretty
gym
bitter about it
next to
too.
Brave with your mouth set a distance.
There's a gymnasium next
I'm
to it.
telling
There's
you.
a lot of women that do exercise, and their physical appearance, bro, they're buff, and they have short hair, even bald hair, bro. I come across at least 100 women and men. Men look so feminine. Women look so male. And I can tell who is the fucking woman, who is the fucking man, because I got experience. I see people.
Gents, give me 1 sec. Pete, how old did you just say you were?
I'm 46.
Bullshit.
Plus 10.
Prove that you're 46.
Minimum plus 10.
I'm 46 years of age, man. I was born in 1972.
Prove that you're 46 right now.
I was born in 1972. I
don't
can't.
care.
What do you want to prove it?
1972, bollocks. Show that you're 46 right now.
How
Prove
would I
it.
prove that?
Anything. Right. If you
Your
can't
identity.
prove your age, what do you think that Patricia should or shouldn't do to prove her sex? You can't even prove your age.
What do you mean I can't prove my? I can't prove it.
I say you're not 46. How are you going to prove it?
I'm not going to be fucking offended if you don't believe me.
No, my point is, how are you going to prove it?
Show you driver's
I mean,
license.
how would you? I mean, if I had to prove it, I could bring in witnesses. I could bring in my brother, my mother.
Driving
birth
license.
certificate.
More than just words.
I could
No, those and
the
those
birth
people.
certificate right in the name, in the legal
No,
name.
Pete.
You have a legal name, Anthony.
You're not
Pete, those
46,
are-
Pete. Prove that.
Pete.
Prove I'm wrong.
And those could all be actors.
I could bring
How do
in.
we
I
know
could
those
bring
aren't
in
all actors.
school records, all that sort of stuff.
Prove I'm wrong right now. The way that you're demanding that someone prove Patricia.
That's
being
proof.
female.
That's a proof right there. 1975. I was born in 1975. That's a proof right there. See it?
I'm 22.
But hang on, because I don't offer you sufficient proof on the spot here, does that mean I'm not 46?
Correct. That's what you're expecting Patricia to do, and you're at your beck and call.
Well, listen, you know, I've been sort of cornered here because this has been an ongoing saga. Over
Not
the
an ongoing
last
saga.
couple of-
Something you've
Created
done,
by
Pete.
you.
It's not
By
created
you.
by me. It was created by Subarats.
Antonio
Oh,
had nothing
really?
to do with this conversation.
You're the one on the panel, Pete. You're the one saying
the word of a
Pete,
sociopath.
Pete, hold on. Everyone take a step back. Pete, right? The reason I'm getting angry is because you are trying to and achieving humiliation of another human being for no justified reason other than what you've been told by somebody else.
I don't mean to do that.
That's what you're doing.
No, man, no.
Well, okay. Do I really have to break down that accusing a woman of being a man is about as humiliating a thing as you could do to a woman?
Well, this is assuming it's not true, right?
Well, duh.
But Pete, why do you care so much?
Yeah, that's another.
I know these people were put in place, man.
What difference does it make, even if she is a bloke?
Because the whole fucking arena is controlled, Anthony, as you know well.
May well be, but it doesn't change anything if she's a bloke.
Right. Well, can I just say something, guys? Because you guys have just been going at it hammer and tongue, and I think Nathan did have a good point, which was that they were engaged to be married, you know, and then what you also need to look at is the fact that she walked out on him, she left him, so he was brokenhearted when that happened. And what was his response? His response was to do probably something that might have been out of character at the time. Let's just say it was out of character. And he went ballistic and did all kinds of weird stuff because he didn't know how to handle things.
He didn't like slowly build it up. He just went full out slander.
My point is that he was the one who raised the issue. These are prominent figures in flat Earth, right? So they presented the whole scenario to the listener.
Pete,
you presented it,
Antonio
Pete.
may have started it originally years ago.
You're doing it now.
You're the one that's brought it up today, and you're the one that's keep trying to give it momentum by continuously saying it. And it's not true, Pete.
Because there are actors acting parts all over the fucking show.
Even if she's an actor.
Anthony, let me just see if I can ask another question. Why won't you just accept that you might be mistaken? Why are you defending arseholes?
I'm not defending anybody.
You are. You're backing their narrative. You're backing their narrative with no evidence, and it's making you look stupid, Pete. I like you. I don't want to get angry with you, Pete. I like you. But by the same token, when you spout horseshit based on what somebody's been telling you, it makes you look terrible.
Right. Let me tell you this, then. Bear with me for a second.
Don't you care about that?
Okay, hang on. Let me tell you this, then. So at the give me 1 minute. So at the Flat Earth conference, I think it was the first one. Patricia Steer was doing a little morning after vlog, right, and just talking generally about how things went. So I was looking at it. I don't want to fucking believe any of this stuff either, but I was looking at it, and there at one particular point, and it was just at a split second, right? You know, none of you here, I know what sort of reaction you're going to get here, but I know this is true as well. One particular second, something happened with her eye, and for one split second, she had no pupil. The very next microsecond later, her pupil dropped into place. And hang on, let me finish, please. Let me finish. So this was damning for me. I mean, I think the whole transgender thing is just the front to hide a different, more deeper truth. But I posted that information to somebody, I think it was Flat Earth Reset, someone who I thought, or the other guy who's on Patricia's case a lot as well. I can't remember his name. Star guy.
Did you take it from the original footage?
Let me say this, please.
Did you take it from the original footage?
Arwen, let me finish the point.
Answer the question.
I didn't hear the question.
Did you take it from the original footage, or did you take it from one of the Ballers videos about it?
No, it was from her own footage.
Okay, well, share where.
I will. Right. So let me tell you what happened. Let me finish and tell you what happened, right? So I posted this information to both Flat Earth Reset and Star Gods, right? And when I posted it and went back to the video, the offending section was removed. This is what I'm telling you. Antonio Subratz is acting his part as alongside Patricia Steer. I think that's all theater.
All right, Pete. Can I just tell you? You know what lossless compression is?
I have not. No, I know. Right. It's not a video artifact, Ranty.
How do you know? How do you know? Because back in the day, it was probably done on 7. Yeah, but it was probably done on 720p. Today we can do up to 1080. You've got all. If it was a live stream, I know for a fact when I did a live stream and captured the P900 and I filmed them side by side, and there was a lag. There was a lag that overlapped by about a quarter of a second over a period of a 10-minute. Both were recording, but one of them was a quarter of a second lag by the time it all finished. It didn't sync up, so that proved that I lost some data to the live stream. I can understand that. So I lost data to the live stream. So if sometimes you do get parts that are missing.
Right, but here's the thing. Data. Explain, Ranty, why when I went back to the video and I didn't save it, when I went back to it, the offending portion, only a second or two, was removed.
Well, maybe it just
to you, but you haven't.
Oh no! Hang on! Wait a minute! Pete. What I'm saying is, do you know when you first upload a live stream and you watch it back? If you watch it within the first 2 minutes or so, you only watch it in like 360p, sometimes even less than that, 180p, yeah, right? But if you leave it for 10 minutes, when I upload a video, after I've finished uploading it, I don't release it straight away. I keep it for about 15 minutes so that when I press release, so that everyone gets it, it's in full high definition. If I was to release it as soon as the video was uploaded, people would only watch it in 360p, right? But what happens is over a period of 10 or 15 minutes, YouTube keeps updating it and changes it from a 360 to a 720, from a 720 to a 1080, right? So this is what happens. So if you watched it, you probably watched it in 360, you saw this anomaly, you took a screenshot of it, and then when you went back to it, YouTube had updated it. It was full res, it was in 720 or 1080 HD, and that little minuscule eye pupil that you thought was missing was there then.
No.
Yeah, I get it too sometimes when I upload a video or a live stream. It starts at a low resolution and slowly, you know, increases in.
Right.
It is
the
output. All the time.
Her pupil was not there, and it dropped into place. And I have a screen capture up, but I didn't screen capture the original video.
Pete, let me ask you a question.
Well, I could prove it now, Pete. I could upload a video to YouTube right now, and I'll give you the link. As soon as I press it, I'll give you the link. You watch it, it'll be the shittest kind of HD video compression you've ever seen. It'll be in 360p. And then I'll ask you to refresh the page in about 10 minutes, and it'll be in 1080. Right? Do you want me to do that and just to prove the point?
Right.
Not really.
No.
It's true.
No, I don't, Ranty.
Pete,
no,
listen. What difference?
Hang on. Her right eye was fine. Her left eye wasn't, and it was in high definition.
Pete, listen. What difference does it make whether she's male or female? And secondly, what has she ever done to you to deserve this level of attack?
Right. I don't like lying or deception, Anthony, and I know you're playing your part as well, right? And you know I know.
You know we're gonna put a lot of makeup and fake eyelashes and shit like that, right?
You know I know that. And Jose, I don't look, maybe I come across a certain way. I don't look bad in real life, right? I'm not an ugly man. I might look a bit older than my years, but I certainly have had a lot to worry about. All of this stuff has cost me a lot. But, you know, I haven't attacked you personally.
Pete, answer the question. What difference does it make whether she's male or female? And what has she ever done to you to warrant this level of attack?
Right, because the whole fucking arena is controlled, right? And this is the worst form of deception then. It's already difficult enough coming away from what we held to be true and dear, right? And then coming in, thinking people are our friends and on our side, but finding out that they are put in place, Anthony.
Stop.
Do you think she's pushing some kind of agenda that it worries you, that affects you?
Wait.
Of course it is.
Stop. Let me re-ask the question because you've not answered it. What difference does it make if she's male or female?
It makes all the difference in the world because then she is acting under false pretenses and there's deception at play.
Pete, it doesn't change the story that she's giving, whether it's...
Yes, it does.
It doesn't. It's got nothing to do with it, Pete.
No, the whole fucking arena is controlled. And if you're saying...
And look at it this way. Let's just say for a minute that you're right. Let's say that she did start life as a boy but looked like a girl and she had the sex op, right? Why would you want to point that out continuously if it was true?
Well, there's honest people in this arena as well, Anthony, right?
Maybe it wasn't dishonest.
They deserve the truth. Do we not deserve the truth?
Hang on, let's just say it was true, but why would it be your business to keep pointing it out if she's chose to change her sex? That's her business.
It's her personal, private life. It doesn't change the message. It's
Do you attack Sean Hufford because he's got tits?
It would be nice if she had real tits, but, you know...
Come on, Pete. It doesn't make any
difference. Yes, I do attack these people. These people are fucking cowards and liars and deceivers.
She's not.
What difference does it make to me? Why should you call out these people as liars and deceivers when
what she lied about, Pete? What she lied about, Pete? What she lied about, other than your assumption of her gender?
Right. Let me.
That's what I want to know.
What she lied about?
Yeah. How does it affect you?
No,
yeah, what she lied about?
Yeah, what she lied about?
No, you see, this is my point. This is my point, Nathan. I think there's a greater picture going on here. And I just pointing out the deception here. It's not about what she's lied about.
Yeah, it is.
Again, we learn more about what people will not talk about than over what they will talk about.
Pete, you've just said it's about them lying. That's what you said. Now you're saying it's not about them lying. So what is this about, Pete?
It's about uncovering the deception. I'm not saying that these people.
What deception? What deception?
All of this.
You're not
Nathan.
listening.
Doing all of this.
You just keep spouting rhetoric. Right? Pete, stop talking. You keep spouting the same rhetoric.
Oh no, I don't. When I tried to answer your question, you keep fucking talking.
No, you're just getting angry, Pete. We're asking you what she's lied about, and then you start telling us how it's all about the deception. No. Pete, listen to the question specifically. What has she lied about?
She's lied about her own role in all of this. She doesn't just come by this by accident. She was.
How the fuck do you know?
Yeah, according to you, Pete.
According to dickhead, shit for brains who just wants to fuck her. That's what this is about, Pete. We all fucking know it. You just want to fuck her, and you're an old, ugly bastard. That's all this is about. You're just like star gods. You're just no better than star gods.
Talk like this in person. And what are you protecting? You're protecting one of your fucking own, aren't you?
Yeah, you've got a picture of her up. I've got no pictures of her. Why have you got pictures of her?
To point out the deception. Ranty,
what deception? Why have you got this picture?
Can you explain that, Ranty?
Why have you got this picture? I've got no picture. Hands up on the panel. Who's got pictures of Patricia Steer?
I've got one that was taken by my own camera.
Oh, that's different. Right.
Never ever
Pete,
heard about her.
What?
Here before this.
Why have you got this picture? What's the point?
Right. The point is that here we go. This is an example, the example I was talking about, when her pupil was missing and it dropped into place. This is why I think all of this.
Sorry, is this what she's lied to you about? Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? This is what you think she's lied to you about? Her pupil's appearance on a television screen? This is what she's like. Sorry, Pete. We're trying to establish why some dirty old fuck like you would go from telling us that her pupil's missing to smearing her character based on your assumption of her gender. And so far we've got because her fucking pupil looks a bit wrong.
Now, if there is this deception at the very heart of fucking flat Earth, do you not want to know about it?
Sorry, her pupil being wrong is not a deception. That's a fucking video anomaly, you stupid idiot.
Is it?
How does this affect you, Pete?
How is this a deception, you stupid old fuckwit?
I'm talking about a deception in terms of her role in all of this.
So her role, in terms of how her fucking pupil looks, you sound like a batshit crazy old fuck.
Huh. Is this the way you talk to Rory?
Yeah, I talk to batshit up crazy old fucks like you like this, you stupid old twat. Nobody needs to take a word you say seriously, you stupid old bastard. Get the fuck out of my hangout, you stupid old fuck. All you want to do is fuck her. That's your only interest. You're a dirty old bastard. Don't ever come on my show again, you dirty old fuck.